We're the Nyasa daughters of Nottingham. We derive our name Nyasa daughters, as in daughters of Nyasa, because where we come from, Malawi, the country was given the name Nyasaland because the country has a massive lake, which is about a fifth of the size of the country. And when the colonial missionaries arrived, they would point to the lake for language barriers and say, what is it called? And the locals would say Nyanja, which is a word for lake. And that word also means, they then changed to Nyasa because the colonials couldn't pronounce Nyanja properly. So as a British protectorate, they called it Nyasaland. That's a name that's not in use anymore because when we gained independence, we changed it to Malawi, which means flames. And this is because from the lake, as the sun sets and the sun rises, the mirage looks actually like the lake's on fire. So that's where we're from, and that's where we take our name from. And we're the Nyasa daughters of Nottingham because we're based in Nottingham. We set up our group just really to set up a community, to have a community feel. We had loads of friendship groups, but nothing quite cohesive that was just for women, for women's issues, where we felt we could communicate and support each other. Initially, it was really just to say if someone's having a baby, we can be there for them because we're so far away from home. If someone just needs some support, that's what we set ourselves up for. And really just to make sure that we weren't leaving anybody behind. So that's why we came together. We had very humble beginnings, and we didn't have any grand, ambitious plans. I'd like to sit here and say we were going to take over the world. But really, that's where we came from. And as we've grown, and as time goes by, and as our needs for our community and the challenges come across that are different to where we started for in 2014, you know, we just evolved with that. But essentially, it was just a group of women who had children or were having children that just felt that we needed something that was ours, where we could be ourselves and understand culturally what it meant, to put it into context and navigate the world that we live in. Okay, so I think with most organizations and groups, there's PC and PC. So pre-COVID, we would meet regularly, maybe once a month, once every couple of months, just for different events. It could be just because we were just meeting up, or because we had we're supporting somebody, or we will come along to learn together. So I remember we were doing sewing classes. We were doing health and hygiene. We were doing just healthy eating, some sports. So we'll do picnics with the kids where we'd have a whole afternoon. Everybody bring your picnics and we'll play games that we would play when we were little. And the kids absolutely loved it. But post-COVID, where it feels really intense, actually, it feels more intense. It feels like we've done more in the last 10, 11 months than we've ever done in our history. It's been primarily via Zoom, via text messages, because we haven't got the luxury of meeting up in space, which actually I think has been a good thing because it's really forced us to make the time. And personally, I feel like I've met more people and got to know them better post-COVID than pre-COVID, because it just feels like people are more accessible. And we're making more time now for just being together without having to leave the house and worry about childcare and what am I going to do with the kids? Can I get there? Is the weather good? Have we got enough space? Have we got the budget for hiring a room and that sort of stuff? So yeah, that's essentially how we're engaging with the group. At the moment, we're heavily reliant on digital, whether it's WhatsApp, phone calls, and Zoom. Zoom has been a godsend. I can't tell you, it's just been brilliant. We've been having dance classes, we've been cooking along, we've been having quiz nights, we've had a book club, we've had just come for a chit chat. It's been brilliant. We've been playing not Scrabble, Hangman. We've had sessions for the kids that actually the kids themselves have run. So we've just facilitated it. And I just think that the possibilities are endless. I mean, the cook-alongs are a big hit. They're absolutely fabulous. And it sounds such a simple idea where somebody cooks and tells everybody what they're doing and everybody just cooks along. But it's one of our most well turned out slots, and the one that gets everybody's blood going is the bingo night on a Wednesday for all the mums. It's just crazy, the level of competitiveness, and a lot of them never played before, and this is our big win. So before the COVID, and we used to take everybody to Panto during Christmas time. We would all go to Panto, and a lot of them people had heard of Panto but didn't really know what it was. Once they knew what it was and it'd been every year, would have a record turnouts. And now bingo is exactly the same. It's like, now we've got bingo, we're going to go to bingo. We love bingo now. So yeah, Zoom has just been, I think the only thing that limits us is our imagination, but I don't think there's anything that we couldn't achieve on Zoom, and we're able to tailor it to all abilities, and just the platform itself is simple to use. I think it's simple enough, makes it easy enough to access. I think the thing, actually there's several things. I well up when I think about this, and we were having our bingo session on Wednesday night, and we had a bit of time afterwards, so we're able to just talk. And the thing that I'm extremely proud of is that we've managed to reach members of the community that didn't see the value of what we were trying to achieve prior, or there was preconceived ideas as to what we were trying to achieve. So reaching out to those people gives us momentum and gives us permission to go for bigger things, and just to ask for more trust from the community to say, we're here for you. We're not in this for ourselves. We're here really for everybody. We've been able to support women through the winter with, just keeping warm is a big thing. Making sure they've got food is a big thing. And it's not about just getting bread and beans. Not everybody likes bread and beans. We don't like bread and beans. It's not part of our cultural palate. So just being able to provide foods that will make people feel good. It's been really tough, really, really tough. Not everybody's been able to work, or they've had to shield. So I'm really proud that in a very small way, we were able to offer some relief. But more importantly is that I think we've won their hearts, as well as as well as people receiving stuff, and which is nice. It's free, and anybody can do that. We've actually got buy-in. People turn up on a Wednesday night, people turn up on a Sunday evening, their children turn up on a Saturday, whereas I don't think we would have been able to achieve that. So from my perspective, the thing that keeps me going, and that I'm like, wow, you guys should know about us, is that we've got a core group of ladies that knew about us. They were always there or thereabouts, but the level of engagement, if I was to do a survey before and the survey now, the level of engagement is maybe 3 or 4 times over, and across all age groups. So we've got elderly ladies, we've got mothers of teenagers and older kids, new mums, people that are not mums, women that are not mums at all, people that work, people that don't work. So it's across the whole spectrum. And what it's allowed us to do, above and beyond that connection, is really be able to help people in a way where they feel they can trust us. And self-help have really, for me, exceeded my expectations. Not because I didn't think they could do anything good or anything, but nobody knew where anything was going to land, basically. And self-help have been really proactive in terms of reaching out to us. What can we do to help? All this help's available. In fact, we've been the limiting factors, just because we're working, we've got kids at home, and we haven't got enough time. But in terms of self-help, they've really, for me, as somebody who coordinates activities, just having the expertise. So actually, if you need help with this, we can do that for you. Actually, we've spoken to a whole bunch of other people, and what you're doing seems great. And that's like, oh, okay, we can relax. So we not relax, but we can feel good about what we're trying to do, because you've got a better view of what's going on. And that just keeps you in check to make sure that you're not spending ages and ages worrying if you're doing enough. As human beings, we tend to. So that for me has been really good support. And just knowing that I can reach out, or we can reach out as an organization at any point. You've been very proactive to tell us what's available, coffee mornings, how we can get in contact with groups outside of ourselves, so that there's a cross-community interaction, not just within ourselves. Like I said, it's about having those partnerships. And I think self-help for us and for me have been very forward in making sure that, pandemic notwithstanding, that we felt as an organization that self-help is still there. whatever resources you have, you've made them very open for us to be able to utilize. One of the things I'd really like to add, above and beyond all the support that we've received in a real way, the thing that does make a difference, and I know everybody says money makes the world go round, it actually absolutely does. If you've got no money, you can't buy heating, you can't do very much, no matter how much your goodwill is. And what self-help managed to do for Nyasa Daughters of Nottingham very, very quickly was to be able to source funding that was discretionary and cut out a lot of the red tape. And at that time, everybody was stressed, and particularly volunteers. They're thinking, well, we've got this group of people, we know there's a desperate situation happening very, very quickly, and we haven't necessarily got the time or the ability to start looking for funding. There was so much information at the time, and what self-help were able to do very quickly was source a pot of funding, which was, I think the execution was brilliant because it cut out a lot of the red tape, and we were able to receive the funding to get it to the people in need very, very quickly. So peer support groups are vital because of that. The second thing is, it actually makes you feel good. Doing good for other people just makes you feel good. I have learned so much that I've used in my own personal development, that I've used in my career, that I would never have learned, I would never have come across. And this is a very selfish thing. And I like to think that I do it altruistically, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, what else am I learning? What else am I exposing myself to? What else can I do to improve my own situation by helping others? And I don't think there's any shame in saying that at all. And the third thing is when you help somebody, and I've been on the receiving end of help, which is why I'm a big proponent of this. The third way that peer groups are really, really important is that when you help somebody through a really difficult situation in their life, and there's no expectations from you of them, when you do that, you actually make an advocate of somebody. And what they do is long-term, for lifelong, they then have this thing where they want to pass on because there was no expectation. And I'm not saying you're going to get this from everybody, but you'll get it more often than not. So I think peer support groups are self-perpetuating. There's always going to be a need. No matter how hard we try, there will always be a need. You'll feel good and you'll grow as a person from doing the work. And that for me gives me purpose, as outside of what I get paid for. This gives me purpose, something that I enjoy doing. And on the flip side of that is that you then get more people to help those people. So it's self-fulfilling and it's always growing. So peer support groups, no matter how small, no matter how niche, if it means that you help people with gardening once a month, that's what you help people with. But it's fulfilling a need. And I think that they're super important. So the first thing is, it's going to be hard. And I'm going to start with that one because it sounds like a discouraging remark, but I'll tell you why I start with that one. I was very naive when we first started this. I thought we're all nice people, we're all dead friendly, we all want the same things. And actually, wanting the same things and running an organization are two different things. And like I said, we had very humble beginnings. We're still quite a small organization in comparison to some of the larger groups out there. But the reason I say it's going to be hard is also because the reward is just as big. So it's hard. You need to be well prepared. You need to have a plan. You need to have processes in place. You need to learn. So you don't just wake up one day and say, right, I'm going to be a chef. You need to understand how to turn the oven on and how to mix bread and all of that sort of stuff. Similarly with setting an organization, what you have is the desire. Once you've got that desire, go for it. Understand who you're serving and understand them very, very well. Because what we found is that people in distress don't react in the way that I imagined I would react when I was planning, when we were sat there planning. You're planning something when you're well, you're comfortable, you're in a warm room, you've got a full belly. The people we are serving don't react well because they're not well. They're in distress. There's challenges that they come up. So understand who you're going to serve. Stick with it. There will be time where you think, why am I even bothering? My target for last year was, if we can help one person, then I'm happy. I know we help more than one person for sure. My target this year was, if we can help 2 people, I'm happy. And with the pandemic, this is all in pandemic times, I know for sure we have helped more than 2 people. And having goals of what you want to achieve is really helpful, because that keeps you going, because you're working towards something. And also it stops that, why am I doing this? It's aimless, because you don't really understand where you're heading to. I mean, no organization goes out there without having a target, because you're aimlessly wandering. And it's the same for peer support. What are we trying to achieve? How many people are we trying to reach? How are we going to reach them? Or how many people? And if it means that you're only affecting one person's life, brilliant. Put all your energy and all your effort into affecting that one person's life and making a difference, and celebrate your wins. I can't stress that enough. Celebrate your wins. Talk to everybody about your wins. Talk to everybody about your activities. It's only in talking to people that you'll find out there's loads of people willing to help. They have a lot of expertise, or they'll point you in the right direction, or they've heard something. It's just incredible how many people I come across that say, oh, have you thought about doing this? And have you heard about this? And we've heard that purely by sharing in what we're doing. And more than anything, enjoy it. If there's no enjoyment, if there's no, this is not to say it's not going to be hard and you're going to have those evenings when you think, goodness sake, I've asked for something very simple. It's not that difficult. But I enjoy what I do. I come off a call thinking that was amazing, and I'm ranting and raving about Nyasa Daughters, and I'm talking about it to my clients. I'm talking about it to my friends. You know, I show off about Nyasa Daughters like you wouldn't believe, like actually is one of my babies. I'm very proud of the fact that I am a Nyasa daughter. But my advice is, anybody wanting to set up, is just really understand who you're serving. It took me a very long time to get to that point where I understood who I was serving. And it is a service. I don't get paid for this. As much as I've learned so many skills, I could have just gone to school and learned about them. I could have just sat in front of YouTube University, but I enjoy it. And it took me a long time to understand who I was serving, what their challenges were. I assumed the path that I had was the same for everybody, and it's not. Everybody has their own challenges. But I would say, if you're thinking about setting up a peer group, speak to like-minded people, get in contact with us. We'll have a chat with you, and just have somebody pick holes at what your plan is. Ask questions of it. Just cast an eye on what you're trying to achieve, and network like you wouldn't believe. If you're shy, do what I do. Pretend for the duration you're not shy, and when the call comes to an end, you're like, oh, I've not been found out for another day. We'll survive for another day. So yeah, I mean, I'll definitely say, if you're going to make a difference to one person, then go for it. Absolutely.